I was going to wear my Pagliacci costume, but it's at the cleaners.
The clown?
Yeah, my clown outfit is at the cleaners, so I couldn't wear it.
Yeah, but can you sing?
Oh, yeah, listen to this. Ridi Pagliaccio!
We'll call you.
Eye on Sun Valley's Talk of the Town is brought to you by Sun Valley Associates, a tradition of expertise since 1962. And McLaughlin and Associates, Jim McLaughlin, architect, adding character to Sun Valley, one building at a time.
Welcome back, everybody, to Talk of the Town. I am Vernon Scott, here for Eye on Sun Valley. And today, my special guest is Mark Junkert, the General Director of Opera Idaho. Welcome, Mark.
Vernon, thanks.
Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
Let's talk opera. I love it. You love it. How are we going to get the rest of Idaho to love it?
Yeah, it's a wonderful art form. It's very passionate, very meaningful. There are some barriers, foreign language, oftentimes. However, what we have, and we'll even have that here for our performance, are super titles that go above the screen that translate so you can follow along while it's occurring. I think MTV and things like that have done more good for opera than anything, because people sing and act at the same time. And that's the art form. It's an older art form, and it's been molded into that these days.
And don't you find, at least for me, when I go to the opera, and I do go to the opera, that it's almost, it has a similar quality to silent films, that the emotionality is such, and the drama is such, and the comedy is such, that I don't find it particularly hard to follow the story. I'm sure there are nuances and certain aspects of the language that obviously I don't understand that take me out a little bit, but that the nature of opera is so emotional that you can respond to it and enjoy the experience, whether you're reading the super titles or know the opera or not.
Yeah, I mean, for years, operas did not have super titles, and many of them you could understand quite well. Yeah, I think that as an art form, we don't have the education now that we had 50, 60 years ago in the schools, so people aren't being exposed to it at an early age. So we have some work to do there, and we've done that. But these are passionate stories. These are stories that could happen to you. They are heightened by one thing, and that's the music.
Right.
It's, you take a play and you read lines, and no matter how much you emote them, when you start adding music to that, it takes it to another level. And so we have that. We have the best of all possible worlds. We have music, and we have words that go with it. And the words going with it gives opera a chance to do one thing that no other art form that I know of can do. If you have four people speaking at the same time, it's very difficult to understand what they're speaking or what they're speaking about. If you have four people singing different musical lines, one might be fast and jumpy, one might be slow and melodic, you can understand little bits and pieces of all the singers at the same time, and you get this complexity that no other art form can bring.
Well, and the singers, for lack of a better comparison, to me, almost act as you say, if you've got four singers going at the same time, they're acting as four different musical instruments.
Right.
They're each playing a different part of the music.
Right, and they have the advantage of words attached to that music so that you can pick out words and get more meaning. You can get meaning from a string quartet and four instruments playing differently at the same time, but it's a lot easier for most people with words attached.
Sure. I want to talk about the big performance on the 18th, February 18th at Bigwood Presbyterian, but let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor.
Stephanie Sellers, a wine consulting company specializing in collector services. Catherine Stephanie, a rare and collectible wine specialist.
Welcome back, everybody. Vernon Scott here with Talk of the Town, Eye on Sun Valley, and I'm here with my special guest, Mark Junkert, General Director of Opera Idaho. Mark, let's talk about the performance on February 18th at Bigwood Presbyterian. What's going on?
6:30 p.m. We are brought here by Sun Valley Opera, and this is our second year coming. We came last year, we brought La Traviata. It is a semi-staged performance of the performances that we'll do next weekend in Boise in the Morrison Center on the campus of Boise State University. By semi-staged, I mean there is no set that we are going to bring from the Morrison Center to the Bigwood Church. It's a big church, but it's not that big.
Right.
And we also will bring limited props. The stage is slightly different sized. We have a chorus, and they will come, and everybody will be in costume, but we will scrunch everybody in just a little bit. And we will have no orchestra because there is no pit to put them in.
Will you be doing it to a playback, or are the singers going to perform a cappella?
With piano.
Oh, lovely.
With piano. Sean Rogers, who played last year for La Traviata. It's a big job for one pianist.
And will you be doing different selections from different operas, or selections all from one opera?
It is the complete opera all the way through, as if we were performing it in Boise.
Oh,
The only difference being no set, no orchestra.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about bringing opera to young people, which I know in the past has been a problem. I know when I try to introduce opera to my kids, they're not ready to hear it yet.
Yeah, you know, we just finished a week ago 31 performances for 12,000 students in the Treasure Valley. Elementary school students, we took out a shortened version of an opera, Cinderella, by Jules Massenet, so a French opera originally, in English, of course, and they loved it. Elementary school kids, it helped that the two ugly stepsisters were usually the principal and a teacher, usually male, in the school dressed up in a costume.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, that helped. The kids loved that. 12,000 kids saw that. We do that every year.
And what strikes me as interesting is that given the nature of musical performance in popular music today, it's gotten very, very theatrical. I mean, we had at the Super Bowl a week or so ago, Lady Gaga flying in, you know, over the heads of the audience. It's gotten to be very much, I think, you know, an operatic performance by its nature in terms of its theatricality. So I wouldn't think that the leap for younger people from that kind of popular music to opera would be that difficult.
Right. I mean, I think that's a change now that wasn't around 40 or 50 years ago. Certainly.
And so I'm hoping that with that nature of music now, it will open that avenue up to young people, because for kids that don't want to listen to opera or have been resistant to listening to opera, it's like not listening to jazz or not listening to classical. You're cutting yourself off from one of the great arts.
Yes, and all classical music works that way, I think. One of the big things that's different is it's live. Now, I understand Lady Gaga is live to a degree.
Right.
But there are soundtracks in the back, there's this and that. In an opera, there are no microphones.
The real deal.
Well, there's no microphones to amplify the sound for openers, so the singers have to sing.
Yeah.
And they have to sing with big voices, and right away, you see the look on a first grader's face. It's like, can that little person make that much sound? And that teaches them something right away about the power of the voice.
Well, I think that's the key too, is getting them at a first grade age.
Yeah.
You know, trying to introduce a teenager to it is a little more challenging, I think. But if you, like anything else, if you expose a young child to one of the great arts, you know, their hearts and minds are much more receptive to it, I think.
The technology has provided some barriers, and there's so much more for kids to experience that they may not see live performances as much, and the schools don't have as much music in them as they did. On the other hand, if you want to see opera online, you can see an awful lot of it, and kids can see it too. So you can watch an opera a day streamed live from stations in Europe.
Well, and I know now, even in our local area, one Sunday or one Saturday a month at the movie theater in Haley, they're broadcasting a live opera.
Yeah, it's the Metropolitan Opera live in HD. It's been a tremendous success for the Metropolitan Opera.
And that's all over the country, I'm assuming.
And for opera as well. We have it in Boise, and it is all around the country. It is in, I don't know the number of countries, but it is worldwide, 40 countries. I saw a live performance of a French opera in Paris once. This was really nice because it was at 7 o'clock at night, right after dinner.
Very nice.
Because it was live.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the kind of innovative marketing and technology that you're employing. I don't know if it's technology, But let's talk about the martini extravaganza.
I don't know that there's technology involved.
Well,
a martini is a martini.
Well, here in Sun Valley, they take their martinis very seriously.
Well, we do too. We have an event. It precedes each opera. It is, in fact, Thursday night of this week. It is sold out, as they have come to be now. It's in the Riverside Room Riverside Hotel Sapphire Room, which is a cabaret room in Boise. And it is the singers from the cast singing in a more casual atmosphere. And there are drinks, in this case 4, that are named after characters of the opera that a local bartender comes up with. We sometimes have a contest as to which one people like the best. So you have a couple martinis, we provide food with that, and the singers come out and sing in a more casual, relaxed atmosphere. This is a good way to enter opera. If you invite someone to an opera and they say, "How long is it?" and you go, "Well, 3 hours." What language is it in? It's a foreign language. Sometimes a martini goes a long way in introducing things.
Yeah, get them all liquored up. And,
well, they come and then they go, maybe this isn't so bad. We'll go to the full opera. And it has worked that way very well for us. And I know other opera companies around the country do that. There's a franchised company. They're located in Brooklyn, but around the country, I know Minneapolis, New Orleans, and somewhere on the West Coast have opera on tap. So it's a beer-oriented evening, much similar.
Right. So the idea is you give them a few martinis, you get them liquored up, and then you let them slowly watch somebody die over 3 or 4 hours in a foreign language.
Yeah, something like that. And in Tosca, more than one dies.
So, and who can resist that? Now, were you brought up in the classical music world? Have you always been a part of music?
I grew up in a dichotomous family where my father was a sportscaster and my mother was a music teacher.
Oh, wow.
And so I grew up in both those worlds.
So you're a perfectly well-rounded human being.
Something like that. I worked for a brief period of time for the Minnesota Vikings in my early life, which came out of my father's job.
And then you came to Opera Idaho when?
2008, so I am now, almost 9 years into this.
Did you get on board as general director, or is that something that
I came as executive
into?
director, but there was no artistic director, and I assumed those duties, and at some point, that is what a general director in opera does, both executive and artistic director, so the title was changed. I think that was 2011.
And does Opera Idaho do a full season with, how many operas do you do in a season?
We do 3 or 4 main stage operas, of which Tosca is one. We began our season with Die Fledermaus in the fall. We'll finish up with an opera by Massenet, who I mentioned before, and it's Werther, which is a Goethe poem, and it's been set by a couple of opera composers, but this is the most famous one, and that's in May. And then we do littler things through the year. Last year we did a very interesting performance of an opera in what we in the opera world call our alternative venues. We did an opera called...
In a car wash, or...?
I'm getting there. We did an opera called Glory Denied by Tom Chiapullo, a new opera about Vietnam, and we did it in an airplane hangar.
Oh, wow, very good.
With a conveniently, no set, but a conveniently parked DEA jet right next to the set to give it ambiance. But it was about Vietnam. That made sense.
Sure.
Tough subject, actually. It was about a prisoner of war, America's longest held prisoner of war, Colonel James Thompson, nearly 9 years, and it was about his life during captivity and after he came back. The setting was really wonderful. It focused people on the drama of the moment. It didn't have the usual trappings of an opera. No set,
right.
And a totally different environment, not a theater. So it kind of put people off guard right away and focused them on the drama. You see a lot of opera companies doing this kind of thing. That was what we did last year. We'll do a couple of things next year in the same vein, but I don't know what they are yet. Well, I do, but we haven't announced our season yet. We will soon.
So in terms of the performance on the 18th at the Bigwood Presbyterian Church, you've got singers on stage, you've got a pianist. Tell us a little bit about the singers. Who are they?
Sure. We have Eleni Kalenos is singing the title role of Tosca. She is originally from Greece and came to New York about 15 years ago and has been an opera singer since then. Started out training and now sings all around the world. Our tenor is from Salt Lake City, Robert Bro, so he doesn't come from very far away, whereas our baritone, the role of Scarpia, he's the evil one, city official who kind of works for Napoleon Bonaparte in history in this opera. He comes to us from Seoul, Korea. Kyu Won Han is his name. He's been with us before, as has Eleni, and this is Robert's debut with us.
So that's at 6:30 on February 18th at the Bigwood Presbyterian Church. And I really want to implore people to come out and see the performance and bring your kids. This is a perfect opportunity, especially in a community like this, to open your children's eyes and young people's eyes to the great beauty that is opera. And you'll be doing them a great service, and you are doing a great service.
Yeah, thank you. Tickets can be found at sunvalleyopera.org. At least that's information about that, and it's at 6:30. So be over by about 9:30. You can get a late dinner.
And absolutely, and I would recommend getting there early because I would imagine the event is going to be very well attended. And that sound I hear is the fat lady singing. We're out of time. Mark, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Fascinating conversation.
Vernon, thank you.
Thank you for your endeavors to bring this art form to audiences that might not otherwise have an opportunity to experience it. It's great service. I appreciate it.
Thank you much.
And I am Vernon Scott. This has been Talk of the Town for Eye on Sun Valley. We will be back soon, and I hope you'll join us then.
Eye on Sun Valley, daily local news from beautiful Sun Valley, Idaho.